afternoon. It's so great to have a trained studio audience. So good afternoon. The Chilliwack Creative Commission is gratefully located on the traditional territory of the Staldo people. Live from Studio C, welcome to Creative Third Thursday. It's our first Creative Third Thursday at our new time, and I want to thank you all for coming. And so just for those people watching at home, our new time is the doors open at 4:30, and recording of this video begins about 5 o'clock, and it's on the third Thursday of every month. So a big hello to our studio audience. Creative Third Thursdays is best taken in live and in person, but we really appreciate that it's not always possible to come and be here live. So that's why we make these YouTube videos. So thank you at home for watching on YouTube today. Please give us a like if you want to see more, maybe even subscribe. We're building a community of creative people starting in Chilliwack. So while we're talking about YouTube, we sure appreciate the use of this studio, Studio C here in Chilliwack. What a facility, and what a guy recording us. Let's say hello, and a big thank you to Tim McAlpine, our host. So like we say, Tim is the guy in the producer's chair this afternoon and the visionary behind Cowork Chilliwack. And I guess that makes him our executive producer. So on the screen are members of the Chilliwack Creative Commission. I am Geoff Edwards. I am the chair of the Creative Third Thursdays Committee. And we are super happy to see all you creative people in our seats here this afternoon at Creative Third Thursdays. So the Chilliwack Creative Commission is a committee of the Chilliwack Economic Partners Corporation. And for more about us, search Creative Commission at businessinchilliwack.com. And wave if this is your first time at a Creative Third Thursday. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Wave if it's your first time in a long time. Yeah, I thought so. So welcome to you too. So Creative Third Thursdays is your monthly opportunity to, meet with other creative people and those that want to meet them. So for social shares this afternoon, if you're getting on your social media account and you're bragging about the fact that you got to be in the studio audience for Creative Third Thursday, please use our hashtag Creative Chilliwack. And that's really helpful too if you're looking to see what's going on with this organization and the other events that we put on locally. So remember, the main thing about Creative Third Thursdays is on the way home from work, on the third Thursday of the month, there's a nice cold refreshment waiting for you at Creative Third Thursdays. So that's our monthly housekeeping business taken care of. Just remember that it's all about providing an opportunity to connect with creatives starting right here in Chilliwack, BC. And with that in mind, our guest today has some serious creative cred. In his youth, he played in local rock bands of note. Being a former rock journalist myself, I thought it only fitting that I might sort of mention the names of those bands. The Alter Egos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. New World on Fire. And Werewolf.
Oh, they were great.
They were great. So, and the other thing is, while taking a keen interest in film, he was a member of a team that won the Best Ensemble Cast in the Vancouver 24-Hour Film Festival. They also won Best Special Effects, and they were runner-up several times in a row. So I think that's some serious creative cred, don't you guys?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a good practice, but please welcome the chair of the Fraser Valley Regional District, Chilliwack City Councillor since 2011, new chair of the Chilliwack Creative Commission, and some say next mayor of Chilliwack, Jason Lum.
Thanks.
It's a rumor.
It's a rumor, yeah.
So thank you.
Squash that right now.
Welcome to Creative Third Thursdays. You are obviously the chair of it, and I thought, have you ever heard the term bony eyes?
Nobody has ever heard that term, no.
Bony eyes. Bony eyes? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Geoff made it up,
I didn't make it up. I looked it up on Google because we used to say it, and it means to covet a thing. like it's a kid's expression. But you kind of covet the seat on the Creative Commission.
Yes.
Each year, the council each time the newly elected council comes together, they divvy up different committees, right?
Yeah, it's the only one that I don't let go on the table. I just steal it first. Yeah, so I always, since 2011, it's back in the Film Commission days, I think. I had to like arm wrestle it from Mayor Popov when he was on council. But once I got it, I'm not going to let it go.
Mayor Popov was our previous member of from council.
That's right. He was on the Film Commission for many years.
So see what I'm talking about here.
So,
right?
Yeah, it's like a logical progression.
So seriously though, why do you covet that position?
This is the best committee of the City of Chilliwack, hands down. No, I get to hang out with the people who are the most fun, the most creative folks. Usually have the most harebrained ideas that match with mine, so it's really good. We have, I think, the only committee events that I get to drink craft beer at, and it's like celebrated. So that's super positive. I really like the idea that the City of Chilliwack is building something really special when it comes to the creative community, and it's just amazing to be a part of it. So
yeah,
I don't want to give that up. Not ready to give that up yet.
Is this an exciting time to be a creative?
100%. There are things that are happening now in Chilliwack that 15 plus years ago we only dreamed of, right? And I give all the credit to this kind of grassroots movement that started, right? And the fact that I think we've had successive councils and a really active economic development office that has said yes. That's come in, and instead of saying, no, your idea is harebrained and go somewhere else, they say yes. Like, let's do it. How can we help? And I think for a creative person who is trying to build something and gain momentum and traction, I think it's so important to have that kind of support around you and the kind of community built around you. So I think that this city has gotten really good at saying yes and how can we help. And it's not just the city, it's creatives supporting other creatives as well. We cheer each other on here. We celebrate each other's success, and I think that's such a huge part of what builds a kind of really vibrant creative ecosystem.
We have some really cool creative things going on. One of them, of course, is the Chilliwack Independent Film Festival.
Yeah, Taras is here.
Taras is in the audience somewhere back there.
I remember the day he I think he had just like gotten off a plane from London or something, and he just came into the office and was like, I want to start a film festival. We were like, okay, let's start a film festival. It sounds like a great idea. And how can we help?
It's on a great trajectory. I mean,
awesome. It's one of the top film festivals, one of the top independent film festivals around. So it's and we should be so, like us, all of us in Chilliwack should be so proud of that, right? Yeah. We're on the map because somebody like Taras comes in, works his butt off, and he gets a whole bunch of other people that say yes and how can we help, and they pile on and make it happen. So that's the kind of city I want to live in, for sure.
Yeah, we are trying to really build something starting in Chilliwack. So, we obviously are putting this out onto YouTube so people out in the world at large can see what we're doing here, and maybe, hey, that might be a good place for me to set up shop. So what do you think it means when we talk about, broadly speaking, the creative community? I try not to pigeonhole it too much because you can find creativity. Yeah, you find creativity in lots of things, right? There's lots of people in this audience that you may not traditionally think come from a creative type industry, but they are, and they're doing creative things within their own sector and the things that they're doing. So I think that's been a way that we've been successful out here, is that we haven't worried about being too exclusive. We've been open and welcoming and inclusive, and trying to support people and trying to build that kind of ethic around us. But there's obviously traditional creative. The Creative Commission was kind of an evolution of the Film Commission, and obviously Chilliwack is a film-friendly community. But we realized that there was a much broader opportunity around supporting other creative
endeavors in Chilliwack. You know, we have an amazing arts community, a homegrown arts community, an amazing theater community, and a music community that you know, it kind of exists a little bit under the surface, some by its own design, right, and then some because, you know, people haven't, you know, kind of dug under the surface a little bit. And I think that's what we've been trying to do, right, is trying to drag those creative folks out a little bit from their basements and their own kind of existence, and show them that we're here to support them, right, and ask them, what do you need for us to support you, right? That's the most important thing, right? Especially from a city point of view, from an economic development point of view, community development point of view.
You know, like the saying goes, building up Chilliwack's creative community.
Yeah.
And what we're trying to do with Creative Thursdays is make a place where local creative people meet monthly.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to stimulate conversations within this community, right? So.
Yeah, the networking opportunities is super important, right? Like it's, I think a lot of people are aware of, you know, folks working in the creative, in the creative community, but we probably don't take enough opportunity to get together and, you know, you know, like I'm a pretty informal guy, right? So like I think creatives are maybe it's, you know, maybe I'm making assumptions, but I do think that there's a level of informality that when people come together and want to network and just talk, and they don't need to have necessarily a set agenda. So I think creating something like the Third Thursday where, you know, it's primarily an opportunity to get together, network, check in. I think that's really important. I wouldn't want to see us become too formal of an organization.
And that's why we try to keep this part of the Creative Third Thursdays, you know, fairly compact and short. Because, you know, when we initially started it, the idea was to create an event where people get together, have a beer, chit-chat with other creative people in the community. So that's one of the things, I guess, an initiative of the city and the Chilliwack Economic Partners Corporation. So what are some other ways in which the city is behind our creative community?
Yeah, so right now, you know, the city has, over the past couple of years, we've been kind of exploring opportunities to help fund creative opportunities. You know, we're funding different festivals. We're funding things through our community development initiative grants. So you can come and apply for grants at the city. We have neighborhood celebration grants, community and celebration and event grants, where, you know, if you're putting on, you know, a festival, or you're putting on, you know, a concert, or you're doing an art walk or something, you can come to the city and apply for funds to help kind of get that started. So we're doing that kind of stuff immediately, and then of course the Economic Development Office, Chilliwack Economic Partners Corporation, you know, they've identified, you know, a number of years ago the potential around growing the creative industry and supporting creative industry as an economic development driver in Chilliwack. And so SEPCO has really stepped up to the plate in terms of, via the Creative Commission, looking at sponsoring certain events, looking at supporting different creative endeavors that are happening all across the city. You know, of course,
we're a sponsor of the Independent Film Festival.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's also, it's looking at, you know, building on opportunities like that. So some of the training opportunities that may arise from some of the different things, like the film festival. You know, and then there's the more traditional things that you think a city would be involved in. We've got an amazing cultural center, you know, world-class cultural center that is, you know, and I talk to performers and people that travel from all around the province and all around the country. Actually, come here and they go, like, this is the envy of other communities, because other people, I can't take credit for it, but councils prior looked at this opportunity, and they built this phenomenal, like, $22.8 million, you know, facility that is just world class. And I think, you know, all of the things that unlocks in terms of potential for our community is really important too. And those are the kind of things that you might think of more traditionally, how a city gets involved in arts and culture.
So why is it so important that we support creativity?
Because the world would be so freaking boring without it. Like, you know, it would, like, what's the point? What's the point, really? You know, like, one of the most beautiful aspects of a community is its kind of creative bones, right? Like the foundation. And if you look closely at places, you know, the happiness index of cities and stuff like that, it's often tied directly to how many creative and cultural events they have. You know, it's building quality of life. It's building a place where people want to come and live and play and work, but also bring ideas for them to flourish, right? And that's what I want Chilliwack to be known as, right? A place where you can bring your creative ideas, where we'll support you, where you'll have a culture of peers, creative folks who are standing by ready to support your ideas with you and cheer you along. I think that would be incredible. Yeah. And I think we're well on our way to getting there.
We're working at it. We're working at building these connections with events like Creative Third Thursdays and our Pecha Kucha event in the fall. And so I was thinking about what our audience can do to help support that. How can we, you know, you're interested somewhat in the creative community. You've shown up at Creative Third Thursday.
Yeah.
Well, let's put it back on audience. How can they support what we're doing? Pay attention for one thing, I guess.
Yeah. Tell your friends, tell 10 friends, tell them to tell 10 more, right? It's building that grassroots support from the bottom up, and it's the idea that, you know, you're part of something special. You're taking time out of your day to be here, so obviously you've shown interest in this. But it's also bring ideas, right? Like, bring us your ideas, right? And I think that's one of the things, right? We can't. I think it's the really cool thing about SEPCO and the Creative Commission is that we're not trying to do it all. We're trying to put ourselves firmly in kind of a support position where, you know, we can connect you with resources. Sometimes directly or indirectly providing resources. We can connect you with other folks who are maybe involved in some of the similar ideas that you have. So I think, that's super important, right? Is to come with ideas.
There you go. You guys listening to that? Got some ideas for us? Well, let's create those conversations. I think that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, we're setting the table for that, right? Like, these events are all here to try and set the table to kind of get this feedback and to bring those ideas to light, right? And I think that's important. But it's also support your fellow creatives, right? I think that's incredibly important too. We had a theater festival that just happened. We've got music festivals that are on right now. You know, we've got the Cultural Center has an amazing lineup of shows. Like, this season is going to be incredible. You've got Film Fest. You've got so many different things that are happening, right? And I think go out, participate, take advantage. Spread the word, because it's a slog too, right? Like, all these things that we think are like Taras was like an overnight success, but, you know, he works like, I don't know very many people who work as hard as he did, right? And you see the results of that hard work, right, paying off for all of us. When SIF puts us on the map, that's important, right?
Well, it stimulates economic activity in the community.
Totally.
A lot of people come here. I mean, the hotel rooms are booked up.
We're right? Second year in, I was standing in a lineup with a couple of filmmakers, and I assumed incorrectly that they were just folks from the Fraser Valley or something. They had flown in from like Chicago or something. So they'd come in from Chicago and they were here to take part of the film fest. So
SIF,
it's big, right?
It's a serious event. If you get the opportunity or you hear about it, when is the next one? I guess we should ask Taras to give us some.
November, October.
Later in the year.
Maybe,
So anyway, what do you think are the emerging opportunities in the creative sector for people to take advantage of here?
Well, I think that one of the main opportunities is the fact that we're not so big and exclusive. Like, you can still, you know, really get to know and build really solid relationships with folks in the creative industries in Chilliwack, right? We're not so massive. I've taken part in events in Vancouver and stuff, and, you know, you're kind of an anonymous face in the crowd. Right here, I think you can really see somebody here. Like I can see most of the folks in here and probably tell you what they do and get a good idea of their background and some of the things they're doing. And I think that helps build trust and relationships. And I think that's an opportunity that we have now as a burgeoning kind of creative place. But I also think like you've got a really forward-thinking economic development office that is like wants to support creative industries. You've got a city council and a mayor right now who want to support the creative folks in Chilliwack, and creative industries have made it priorities. So, I think all of the pieces are kind of lining up in a way that really, if I was a betting guy, like I'd be betting on the creative industry in Chilliwack for sure.
So I think you get the idea here. Get the push. Please be part of it. Attend events. Bring friends. Share. Like our content. It really does help us to build this thing we're trying to build here. So huge thank you. Jason Lum, everybody. And thank you to our studio audience. Creative Thursdays is best taken in live. So thank you to you all for coming, but also thank you for being the studio audience, and thank you for YouTube audience. And thank you to Tim McAlpine, Studio C, for making that even possible.
Yeah, so, thanks to Tim. Absolutely huge thanks to Tim.
So our next Creative Thursday is a field trip. It won't actually be here at Studio C. And we're going to go see a metal sculpture at work. Kevin Stone is our next featured creative. So watch for details. How do you do that? Remember the hashtag, Creative Chilliwack. All right. This cold bevy's still in the lobby. Thanks for coming, everybody. Cheers.